Greetings from Transylvania!
Welcome back to Pierce Productions. My name is Trace, and today I start my journey for what could possibly be my hardest video that I've ever had to do. Rob Zombie's new movie, The Munsters, hit Netflix. A leak came online a week prior, and some early reviews already dropped. But before any of that happened, there was already the talk of the town about this movie because the trailer was just so terrible. And I have to admit, I watched the trailer more times than I'm willing to say. It was like a train wreck. I just couldn't take my eyes off it. It was so bad, it was almost good to watch. I don't really know what to expect with this movie. Now, I'm committing 5 days in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You son of a bitch, I'm in!
To watch this movie. It's an hour and 50 minutes, which for a Munsters movie, I don't know why it needs to almost be 2 hours. Most comedies are an hour and a half, but hey, maybe there's something in this movie that I don't know about. But I'm going to commit 5 days straight watching this movie to see if each time that I watch it, how my thoughts on this film change. Some people are already saying it's the worst movie of 2022. So for day one, I made myself a nice, healthy dinner of beer and pizza, and I start my journey. So I'm now 16 minutes into this quote-unquote movie, and I'm starting to question my idea for this video that I'm doing right now. All I can say is thank God I have a beer with me.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Okay, so that was my first watch of The Munsters, and I'll throw up a text that I sent my roommate about almost halfway through the movie. I got 4 more days of this. I'm going to save my full thoughts for at least the second rewatch. Maybe my thoughts will change in 24 hours, but yeah, not off to a good start. This was pretty bad, but I'll give my full thoughts on day 2. So after reporting for day 2 of watching The Munsters out of my 5 days straight that I'm going to watch this movie, I can safely and easily say that it is still a bad movie, even after 24 hours of sitting on the film and pondering it. I really don't know how I sat through this a second time within such a short period without banging my head against the wall. But I am committed. I am so committed that I forgot to mention this yesterday on day 1. But before even watching the movie on the first day, I sat down for about an hour and went on YouTube and looked up old episodes of The Munsters to try and get a feel for the TV show. And the only time I had ever actually seen any clips or anything from The Munsters was if it was already on TV and I was walking past it, but I've never actually sat down and watched a full episode. So I took about an hour of my time last night before the movie to do so. Now for my second rewatch, I noticed that everything that annoyed me the first time still annoyed me. The acting, the lighting, the comedy. I really don't know who this movie was made for. Now, one would say it was made for people that watched it in the 60s or maybe even the 70s after it was done airing and grew up with that. But the problem with that is I feel like if you were going to go for a nostalgia factor, you would have taken the Herman Munster character a tad bit more seriously and not done such a high-pitched voice, and you probably would have done it in black and white if you're going to lean in and play into that nostalgia factor. So then you got to ask yourself, okay, well, was this made for kids? I truly don't know. I used to work with kids, and I don't think any of the kids that I worked with would sit down and enjoy this movie. I would love to watch this movie with a kid just to know what they thought about this movie and to interview them afterwards, because this movie certainly wasn't made and targeted towards me, and I'm having doubts that it was targeted towards an older generation and having doubts that it was targeted for a younger generation. Now, there were a couple parts in the movie that I didn't want to bang my head against the wall so much. One is the opening. We start off with these grave robbers, one of which is a scientist, and they're trying to rob the grave of a pianist, and turns out he's a zombie. Now, that first opening 3-4 minutes of them having a conversation with the zombie, I actually kind of enjoyed that. And then my next favorite part was the intro of the series that they paid homage to at the very, very, very end, where that is in black and white, and they're playing the music, and they're all coming out of the door. Everything else in between, I can't really say that I enjoyed any of it. If I had to pick out any performances, I would go with the actor that portrayed the grandpa. I have a lot more thoughts, but just like I did yesterday, I'm going to sit on those thoughts and see if they change for my third rewatch. So now we're on day 3, and just when I thought my night couldn't get any worse, Miami Dolphins had already lost the football game. I had to work a full 8-hour shift at work, and I can't relax. I had to clock in for round 3 of the Munsters. About halfway through the movie, I just had to get some fresh air. Now, I had an option of watching and finishing the movie while downstairs in the hot tub, but there are many things you can get caught doing in a hot tub, and watching the Munsters alone was not something I was wanting to get caught doing that night. All 3 times that I've watched this movie, almost 6 hours of watch time, I haven't laughed at a single joke. Here's to night 4. Alright, we're finally on day 4 of me watching the Munsters out of 5 days straight. And you know what? Today wasn't as bad as yesterday, but maybe the movie's not as bad as myself and others are making it out to seem. No, it's still a bad movie. But I did tap my foot to a couple of the songs in the movie, primarily the Sonny and Cher parody that they do, and then obviously the ending Munsters theme. Those parts didn't bother me so much. The Sonny and Cher thing, the last couple days, whenever that came on, I kind of rolled my eyes. But I must have just been in a good mood today. Or maybe it's because I only have to watch this one more time and my brain knows it. Forgot to turn the lights on for the video. But as I was saying, there was a couple other things in this next to last showing, I guess, that I did enjoy. One of them was Lily Munster, played by Rob Zombie's wife in real life. Her performance, actually, the more and more that I'm watching this movie, I did say earlier, I think on day 2, that the grandpa was the standout of the movie for me. And I think that I'm going to change my mind to Lily Munster. Every time she came on screen, I was actually just a little bit more interested in her mannerisms and the way she spoke. But I only have to watch it one more time, and tomorrow is going to be on a plane. So everyone is going to probably be questioning what I'm doing with my life, watching this on my flight back to Florida. The day has finally come. Day 5 is here, and watching this on the plane, it made me happy. Not because I was going home to Florida to see my family, but because I know that I never have to watch this movie ever again. But I've completed a task that some would say is impossible, watching almost 10 hours of the Munsters in 5 days. The strangers sharing this plane with me sadly would have no idea the madman sitting next to them that would voluntarily watch this movie 5 days in a row. All in all, at the end of my journey, if I go the rest of my life not ever having to watch the Munsters ever again, it will be a good life.